Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
जय
Krishna
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotee. So today is Friday, it is 27th of September. It is Ashwini Masa or Padmanabha Masa, Krishna Paksham, and the Dasimi Tidi. So there are no Vaishnavas today, but tomorrow we have got Ekadasi. So it is a alert for the devotees who are fasting uh, from grains, beans, and salads, and the fruits which are having too much of seeds. Okay, so apart from that, there are no Vaishnavas today, so we shall quickly move into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Lord Brahma speaking to Narada Muni, so describing the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and about his external energy and also internal energy. So he has mentioned devotees who have surrendered themselves unto the lotus feet of the Lord, they would easily cross this material science, the birth, old age, disease, and death. But whereas the people who are not surrendered, who think that their body is themselves and who that body is going to be eaten by the dogs and jackals, such kind of people cannot cross the material science. And then that is by the Devamaya. So, and further, Brahma said to Narada Muni about the Yoga Maya. So, and giving the surrendered souls the names of the surrendered people in the past, present, and future. Um, that is Yoga Maya. Brahma mentioned that once. And then now using the to cross this material essence from the Devamayam and how to attain that one. Likewise, Brahma says. So about the Devamayam, Yesham Sayesha Bhagavan Dayed Anantaha Sarvatmana Ashita Pado Yed Nirvilekam Ted Ted Dustaram Adhikarantika Devamayam. ते दुस्तरम् अधितरन्ति च देवमायां नैषा ममाहमिति धीः स्वसुरगालभक्षे. So the people who surrendered themselves unto the lotus feet of the Lord, te dustaram adhitaranti cha devamayam. So likewise Brahma mentioned. And then further, Brahma said to Narada Muni, giving the list of the people, Vedahamanga paramasya yogamayam yoyam bhavasya bhagavan at daityavadyah patni manoho sacha manushya tadatmajasya prachina barhi rubranga bhutadruvasya इक्ष्वाकुरैल मुचुकुंद विदेहगादि रघ्वंबरीश सगरा गयना कुशाद्याः मान्दात्रर्कसरिदनु अनुरन्ति देवाः देवव्रतो बलिरमूर्तरयो दिलीपः सौभरि उतङ्कशिबि देवलपिप्पलादः सारस्वत उद्धव पराशर भूरिशेनाः येन्ये विभीषण हनुमान् उपेन्द्रदत्तः पार्थाष्टिशेन विदुरश्रुत देववर्याः. So these are all devotees who have approached the Lord through Yogamaya. That is Vedahamanga Paramasihi Yogamaya. Now, today Brahma is saying to Narada Muni further um, that to cross this material essence, that Devamayam, which is under the Devamayam, inclusive of the people like women and Sudras and people of the who live in the forest like Siberians, mountaineers, Shabara people, Kona people. So likewise, all kinds of sinful people, if they are coming to the shelter of the devotees And if they are trained by the devotees, they will be able to easily cross this materialness signs. So again, this is the glories of the devotees of the Lord. Why one has to surrender to the spiritual master. By training by spiritual master, one can easily cross this materialness signs. Not only the sinful people, so even the animals, the birds, beasts, and everything, even they will also get the liberation if they come to the shelter of the devotees. So that is the glories of the devotees. Who have the devotees means who have surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord completely as a life and soul. So likewise, Brahma is saying. So this is very important verse. Many times we see that even animals, how they have been liberated when coming or in associating with the devotees. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 7, verse number 46. ते वै विदन्ति अतितरन्ति च देवमायां स्त्रीशूद्रपूर्णशबरापि पापजीवाः यदि अद्भुतक्रमपरायणशीलशिक्षाः तिर्यग्जनापि किमु श्रुतधारणाये ते वै विदन्ति अधितरन्ति च देवमायां ते वै such persons undoubtedly te vai vidanti and they do know and atitaranti this is surpass this cha devamayam they will cross this materialness signs and who are they such persons means who are they stri sudra hona shabara api papa jivaha so mentioning differently so what is the stri here such as women sudra the labor class of men hona the mountaineers who live in the forest and shabraha the Siberians are those lower than the sudras sudra api although papa jivaha sinful living beings so these are all Devai Vidanti Aditaranchicha Devamayam. They will also cross the materialness signs. Devamayam, the covering energy of the Lord. And how? Yedi Adbhuta Krama Parayana Sela Sikshaha. So Yedi they provided Adbhuta Krama Parayana Sela Sikshaha. Adbhuta Krama, one whose acts are so wonderful. Parayana, and those who are devotees. Devotees means who have surrendered themselves to the lotus feet of the Lord. Parayana Sela Sikshaha. The sila is the behavior sikshaha that trained by those devotees. So if all these people, if they are trained by, so like when Prabhupada example is, direct example is Prabhupada has turned the so many mlechas, hippies and so many other people, atheistic people, turned them into pure devotees. It is not that much easy. So here, this is the verse which is the practically we see here. Yedi adbhuta krama parayana sela shikshaha. And not only that, not only sinful people, and then Tiryak Janapi. Tiryak Janapi. Tiryak means the living entities whose spinal cord is the parallel to the earth. That is Tiryak Janapi. Even those who are not human beings, animals beings. Tiryak Janapi. Kimu. So, and what to speak of Kimbu? So, what to speak of Sratadharanaye and Sratadharana. Those who have taken to the idea of Lord by hearing about Him, just by hearing about Him. So, that is the power of Krishna Katha. That is Sratadharanaye. And all these people also, animals, beasts, and everyone also will be liberated. This is an example of once again Narad Muni come in contact with a small insect as per the instruction of the Vishnu. And then later on it gets a next immediate body is the kind of a calf and then a boy and then finally he got liberated very quickly. See coming from skipping so many out of 8.4 million species. So one has to go gradually. But here when he comes in association with the devotees, immediately within 3 lifespans itself, a living entity got liberated. So that is the Sudharanaye, that is the power of Krishna Katha. So likewise, Brahma is saying, so Tevai Vidanti Atitaranti cha Deva Mayam, Rudra Purna Shabhrapi Papa Jivaha, Yadbhuta Krama Parayana Sila Sikshaha, Tijagjanapi Kimusudharanaye. So translation for this verse. Surrendered souls, even from groups leading sinful lives, such as women, the labor class, the mountaineers, and the Siberians, or even the birds and beasts, can also know about the signs of God and become liberated from the clutches of the illusory energy by surrendering unto the pure devotees of the Lord and by following in their footsteps in devotional service. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request any unallocated devotees to read this purport, please? Radha Sevka Mataji, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, okay. Hare Krishna. So purport by my grace, God. Okay, just one moment. Okay. So just making the my script. Sometimes there are inquiries as to how one can surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita 18.66, the Lord asked Arjuna to surrender him unto him. And therefore, persons unwilling to do so question where God is and to whom they should surrender. The answer to such questions or inquiries is given herein very properly. The personality of Godhead may not be present before one's eyes, but if one is sincere in wanting such guidance, the Lord will send a bona fide person who can guide one properly back to Godhead, back home, back to Godhead. There is no need of material qualifications for making progress on the path of spiritual realization. In the material world, when one accepts some particular type of service, he is required to possess some particular type of qualification also. Without this, one is unfit for such service. But in devotional service of the Lord, the only qualification required is surrender. Surrendering oneself is in one's own hand. If one likes, he can surrender immediately without delay, and that begins his spiritual life. The bona fide representative of God is as good as God himself. Or in other words, the loving representative of the Lord is more kind and more easy to approach. A sinful soul cannot approach the Lord directly, but such a sinful man can easily approach a pure devotee of the Lord. And if one agrees to put himself under the guidance of such a devotee of the Lord, he can understand the science of God and can also become like a transcendental pure devotee of the Lord and thus get his liberation back to Godhead, back home for eternal happiness. So realization of the science of Godhead and relief from the unnecessary, useless struggle for existence are not at all difficult for the willing candidate. But they are very difficult for persons who are not surrendered souls, but only simple, profitless speculators.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So here Prabhupada is mentioning about Saradharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Saranam Raja Aham Tvam Sarvapapebhyo Mokshishyami Ma Suchaha. So Krishna's statement to surrender oneself unto lotus feet of the Lord. And this is the statement repeated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, says the same thing. Everyone has to surrender unto lotus feet of Krishna. And all acharyas, they say the same thing, just only the one statement, surrender unto him. Therefore, persons unwilling to do so, uh, so question where God is and to whom they should surrender. So, and the answer to such persons or inquiries given herein by very properly that so one has to surrender to the devotees of the Lord, who is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is as good as the Lord himself because he is giving the Lord directly to the people who are in search of the God. And what they need to do? Surrender themselves. Susrushadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchihi Syam Masya Mahatsevaya Vipraha Punyatirtha Nishevanan. So surrendering unto the devotees, it is Punyatirtha. That is called Mahat Seva. Syam Matsevaya Vipraha. That is so the Goswami statement. In the past, even these Sudras, whenever Narada Muni, as he was the son of a woman, a Sudra woman, at the time, he has engaged himself in the service of the Vedantists. Aham Puratita Bhave Abhyam Abhavam Mune दास्यास्तु कश्चाशन वेदवादिनां निरूपितो बालक एव योगिनां शुश्रूषणे प्रावृषि निर्विवक्षताम्. He was Narad Muni in his previous life, when he was the son of a maid servant, he was engaged in the Susrushane Pravrushi Nirvikshitam. So during that time, this Vedavadinam, the Vedantists, they were in the Chaturmasya. That is called Pravrushi for the 4 months, and that particular time, they have come to a Brahmana home where Narada Muni and his mother, they were engaged in the service of the Vedantists in the previous millennium. And at that time, Dasyastu Kashashana Vedavadinam. Dasyastu Kashashana. So at that time, he was serving them, serving the Vedantists. So that is how he has developed. Even as a child, he was Temaya Apet Akila Chapa Akila Chap Akila Chapali Arbhake Dhante Druta Kredanake Anuvattini. He has controlled his work, talking, and his activities, and his even the playing things. Though he was a 5 years old boy, he has controlled all of his playful things. And then Kredanake Anuvattini, and he is following the instructions of the elders, like he the Vedantist and all the elders. And likewise, Chakruha Krupam Yadipi Tulya Darshanaha Susrushamani Munayo Alpa Bhashini. So Susrushamani Munayo, he was engaged. Likewise, he served all the munis. Munayo Alpa Bhashini. He doesn't speak unnecessarily. Whenever there is a great persons like a few devotees of the Lord are there, they do not. People of who wanted to learn about the Lord, they do not speak. Though they may be having, they wanted to hear more, because each devotee speak at different things when they are given a chance like that. So here, especially they are the Vedantists. So here, Chakruha Krupam Yadipi Tulya Darshanaha, those Vedantists, they are the equally vision, equipoised. So at that time, because Narada Muni was engaged, and one time he has also taken the remnants of those Vedantists. Uchistalepan Anumodito Vijayhi. When we take the remnants of those devotees, Anumodita, we have to take the permission. Anumodito Dvijayhi Uchistalepan. Otherwise, we have to be very humble. Unless if they leave it everything, but in front of them, if you want to take it, we need to take the permission from them. Anumodito Dvijayhi. Then Sakrut Sma Bunje Tad Apastu Kilbishaha. When we take those remnants of the food stuff, we will be freed from all the sinful activities. Bhunje Tad Apasta Kilbishaha. And then Evam Pravrittasya Vishuddha Chetasaha. And we will also get that complete purification like those Vedantatis. Tad dharma evatmaruchihi prajayate. And whatever the dharma they are following, and evatmaruchihi prajayate, that kind of devotion also we derive it from them. So likewise, this is Narada Muni Narada Muni says to Vyasadeva. So here, this particular verse is the example of it. Brahma is saying to Narada Muni here. So here, there is no need of material qualifications for making progress on the path of spiritual realization. In the material world, when one accepts the particular type of service, he is required to possess some particular type of qualification also. And here again, what is his qualification? Is a surrender. And but the devotional service of the Lord, the only qualification required is surrender. And here again further, the bona fide representative of God is as good as God Himself. This is so powerful statement. The bona fide representative of God is as good as God Himself. But they never claim that they are the God. They say that I am all the representative of God and I am the servant of the God. Brutya. Tad brutya brutya. This is sometimes 7 times it is repeated. In a particular one of the Kulashekara's prayers, uh, he prays to the Lord that I want you to be tad brutya brutya brutyanu brutya brutya brutyasya brutya itimam smaralokanara. This is the etad janma sapalyam. That is becoming the making the life successful. That is the मज्जन्म फलमिदं मधुकैट भारे एतत् प्रार्थनीय मदनुग्रह एष एव. So तद्भृत्य भृत्य परिचारक भृत्य भृत्य भृत्यस्य भृत्यतिमां स्मरलोकनादा. He is servant of the, so likewise servant of God, like that 7 times is repeated. Some of the devotees mentioning the number of times bhrutya is used. So he claims that a bona fide representative of God is as good as God Himself. So, in other words, the living representative of the Lord is more kind and more easy to approach. More easy to approach. But a sinful soul cannot approach the Lord directly, but such a sinful man can very easily approach a pure devotee of the Lord. And if one agrees to put himself under the guidance of such devotee of the Lord, he can also understand the signs of God. This is the dharma evatmurichihi prajayate. That is, understand the signs of God and can also become like the transcendental pure devotee of the Lord, and thus get his liberation back to Godhead, uh, back home or eternal happiness. This is Madharma Gunairetaihi Parisham Shuddha Ashayah. Purushasya Anjisabhyeti Sutamatra Gunam Himam. Because whoever hears and come in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees and his glories, then they will also be. This is, one should have a Parisham Shuddha Ashayah. I want you to be completely free from the sinful activities. That desire must be there. Then he will get everything aligned, all the activities. So Lord will send his representative, and that whoever is desiring, they will take the association of that devotee, and they can uh, get his liberation and back to Godhead, back home for eternal happiness. So realization of the God signs of Godhead and relief from the unnecessary, useless struggle for existence are not at all difficult for the willing candidate. This is the desire, the willing candidate. But they are very difficult for persons who are not surrendered souls but only simple profitless speculators. So this is everything is going on karmana daiva netrena. Likewise, Prabhupada is explaining very beautifully, and here this verse Brahma is saying to Narada Muni, his son, that is all the great souls. Whenever we are surrendered to the great souls, they give all kinds of instructions. Anuratanam Shishanam Putranam Chedvijottama Anaprushtamiki Bruyhu Guru Dhenavachalaha. Anaprushtam, even though it is a secret knowledge, but they will give liberally and generously to Putranam, Shishanam, Vijottama, Anuratanam, Anuratanam, Shishanam. These are the whoever is following in the footsteps and the disciples and children, they will give the all the secret knowledge. Anaprushtamabhi bruyuhu guruva denavachalaha. They are very, very inclined, compassionate, and kind to the living entities. So this is the glories of the devotees of the Lord. So likewise, Brahma is saying here, Devai vidanti aditarancha deva mayam Sri Sudra Purna Shabrapi Papa Jivaha Yadad Yadyadbhuta Krama Parayana Sila Sikshaha Sri Janapi Kimusudharanaye. Very beautiful verse. I request dear devotees, you also kindly try to remember and recite number of times. So you would remember. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall quickly move into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today is letter to Bahulaspa, April 18, 1970, Los Angeles. Can I request Sharanya Mataji to read this letter, please?
Hare Krishna. My dear Bahulaswa, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 10th instant, and the information therein is very encouraging. I understand from your letter that people have been well impressed, so this is a good opportunity for advancing our missionary activities. Actually, we are creating the most peaceful persons in the world. Krishna is so nice that anyone who takes him becomes the first class peaceful man. You can know from the example of Arjuna how much peaceful he was. He did not mind to forego his calm, and he remained non-violent and peaceful. Personally, he was not in favor of fighting, and whatever he did was only to satisfy Krishna. Yes, that is a very nice proposal that you may combinely San Francisco, Berkeley, and San Jose hold festivals throughout the summer. So do it. Whatever you do by combined consultation is approved by me. Regarding Paramatma Das, I think he should simply push on with his school work as much as it may be necessary, and the remainder of the time he may spend with the devotees in our Krishna consciousness activities. Certainly, he is feeling some inconvenience due to the poor association at the Karmi school, but this is not a permanent situation. In the past, many of our devotees like Leela Sugha, Kanjan Bala, Indira, etc. in New York, Sharadhya in Boston, and others in Buffalo, and in other places also have finished up their required education in the public schools in spite of continuous feeling of disturbance by the non-devotee students and faculty. So, if he finishes up his education in this way, remaining under your care at the temple, then the unwanted association will not be harmful. Just see that he is strictly executing his prescribed duties, and that will keep him strong in spiritual life. Please increase the sales of literature. That is our great Sankirtana Brahat Mridanga. The correspondence with Dr. Stahl published in the Daily Californian was very much interesting, so we shall publish it in our BTG. I am very glad to learn how you are improving the temple with new altar, proper Vyasasana, etc. I have already ordered Radhakrishna deities for you, and when they arrive, they will be installed. Please offer my blessings to all the boys and girls there. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Yes, by the by, I understand from Hansadatta's letter that he was advised from Germany to dispatch $1,500 from Berkeley for credit of my account here. If it is not yet done, please do it. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Any takeaway points Mataji wanted to highlight?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, the two points strike is like Prabhupada was mentioning whoever is associated with Krishna will be naturally peaceful, because and Prabhupada was giving the example of Arjuna. Arjuna did not want to fight, and Krishna was encouraging him to fight. So the patience level, the tolerance level will be increased when someone is getting associated with Krishna. So Prabhupada was saying like we are making the first class peaceful mans around the world by propagating this Krishna consciousness movement. So when someone getting to associate with Krishna consciousness movement, there will be a self-satisfaction and intolerance that will come on the way. So that is the first point Prabhupada was saying. And the second point was like when that is a struggle, like when someone is in the abroad or some other places, every parents can't send their kids to a Sanatana Dharma following schools. So Prabhupada was mentioning like, don't worry about that. There are many students in our Krishna consciousness movement. They are doing that, but still they are following the principles, and they remain as a devotees in despite of the disturbance from the non-devotee students and faculty there. So stick on to the process, like make sure that they are executing the devotional service like chanting and other things, and Krishna will take care of them despite of whatever situation they are put in the material world. Krishna will always protect them in whatever situation. So that was Prabhupada was saying. And again Prabhupada was encouraging to increase the sales of literature, and Sankirtan movement was also Prabhupada was encouraging. And Prabhupada is always happy when someone improve the conditions of the temple, and the because these devotee was in improving the temple, they are making new altar and proper vyasas and etc. Prabhupada was happy for that also. And another thing was Prabhupada was happy when the disciples do things combinedly. They discuss and they do as a group. That was also encouraged by Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was happy when things are doing combinedly in cooperation. So yes, Prabhu, that's all is my takeaway. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nicely explained. Any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to add to this letter? Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. Yes, and Prabhupada's desire like to creating most peaceful persons in the world. So for that Bhagavad Gita, as soon as one hears, even though whatever the difficult situation he has got, Desa Kaladhyuktani Kruttapani Shamani Cham Smaranti Harati Chittam Govinda Abhihitanimi. So when Arjuna, even when he was in the Krishna has left this material world, from the eyes of material, from the naked eyes. At the time, Arjuna was so crying. At the time, he remembers Desa Kaladhyuktani Kruttapani Shamani Cha Smaranti Harati Smaranti Harati Chit. What is that one? So Smaranti Harati Chit. Haranti Smarati Chittam Govinda Abhihitanimi. Whatever Krishna spoke in the Bhagavad Gita, remembering all those statements, he is completely freed from all the Pruttapan Shamanicham. He became so peaceful. That's why we wanted to give Bhagavad Gita throughout the world to create the most peaceful persons in the world. And so remain non-violent, peaceful, but one has to carry out his duties in his jurisdiction, and then engage himself in the devotional service. So all this going to the schools and mundane association, it is only temporary, but the peacefulness and the eternal happiness are permanent. That is Prabhupada's statements from my takeaway from this letter. Thank you so much, Mataji. And from the announcements point of view, so today, so tomorrow morning we continue with this Vaikuntha description. And tomorrow evening we have got Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishna Keshadas Prabhuji. Yeah, at 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. Okay, those are upcoming events. And also the Children's Krishna Club is also at 12 o'clock for the children. Okay, these are our upcoming events tomorrow. So Saturday is a bit busy day. That's all from the updates point of view from me. And dear devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further chapter. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Just want to ask, like, on that verse that mention about Striya, like, so about, like, so why only Striya and not
Not Purusha.
Purusha. Yeah.
So Stri, by the nature of the body, Stri is subordinate to the man. Stri always needs protection and mostly in the bodily concept of life. Though one Stri is born in the Brahmana's family, she cannot be given the sacred thread. Whereas the Purusha, he is the enjoyer and he leads the family, he protects the family, and he takes the shelter of lotus feet of spiritual master and he engages himself in the devotional service. Whereas Stri, she is assist him. But Stri has got more benefits than the because she has got a service to the devotee. She is more most she has got that flexibility and uh, advantages, more advantages. Though here it is mentioned here directly, she cannot go directly. She cannot approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She has to render some service to her husband. That is the Patideva. We say Patideva is the husband is the Lord. If we see the example of Ansuya Mata and Atri, Ansuya Mata simply serving her husband. Even she made even the three principal deities, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, into babies, turned into babies. That is the power of serving husband. But Stri, she cannot directly approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that Mam hi pada vyapasritya yepishu papa yonayaha. Striyo vaishya tada suddha te piyanti param gatim. Krishna also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. That is three. One has to first render service. But Purusha, he also renders service to the spiritual master. But when he comes into a home, Purusha protects the family. He earns the livelihood for the family sake. But here, if it is a home means Gruhastha Gruhini. Gruhini means she is the owner of the house. Gruhastha means husband is not the owner of the house. He is staying in the house. Even it comes from the spiritual world. Golok also, it is the Radha Rani's palace and Krishna lives in the Radharani's palace. In our material world, we live in here. It is the home of Meena Mataji, home of Jahna Kanyas Mataji. So, who are the husbands? They are living in those homes. So that is the nature we call here. They are Gruhastha means who lives in the house. Gruhini means who is owning that house, who is carrying out the activities of the house. And this material world is Devi Dhama. It is the Durga Devi is the in charge of it. She is the mother. So these are the three. She has got so many facilities, uh, and also at the same time she has got a duty to render service to the Supreme Lord. Prakriti. Stri is the Prakriti, the Lord is the Purusha, and man is the Purusha. Man is not actually, but if we see in overall, the man and woman all are the subservients of Supreme. Everyone are the Prakriti himself. Prakriti. The Lord is only the Purusha. So there are many things again to speak about it. That is Stri in a short term.
Nicely explained. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay. Any other updates, dear devotees? Okay, if there are no further updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय हैव ए कृष्ण कॉन्शियस डे एवरीवन